Oh man. Good morning, fellow YouTubers. Happy hump day to you all. Time to make it to work. For some reason I just feel like turning around and going back in the house. It's one of those days. I know once I get there, I'll feel a little bit better. But as of right now, whew, y'all just don't know. Woke up on time, woke up refreshed, but I just don't want to go. I need a hooky day. I'm gonna go ahead with my original plans and take me 2 days off at the end of this month. And just in case you don't know and you've been under a rock, this is the month of April. Not being funny, but I'm just saying. So anyway, the other day I was coming home. I had just left work, and I was coming down the expressway, and I noticed what was the start of a small brush fire. So I decided to be that good Samaritan and called 911 services to report the brush fire. Now, she picks up, and she's like, "Hello, ma'am." I said, "I'm calling to report the beginning of a brush fire." I said, "A brush fire." And I just passed it. I just noticed it. I just passed it. She asked me where. I gave her the mile marker, the whole nine, told her where it was located. And she proceeds to tell me there is no such mile marker. I was like, "Lady, the mile markers are located in the median, going both east, west, north, and south to give you an identification of where the brush fire is." So she goes on and on. So she's still stuck on this location. So I gave her the two exits. I said it's almost halfway between exit. I also say one, exit two. So she got that information, and she asked, where are you, sir?" I said, "Ma'am, I'm on the expressway. I just passed the start of a brush fire." Just like that. Okay. So she going back and forth to me. "Well, do you have any idea what could have started the fire?" "Ma'am, I just passed the start of a brush fire. I don't know how the fire started. I did not say anybody was barbecuing. Uncle John was drunk again. None of that kind of stuff." And she's going back and forth. And I was like, "Can you please take my name or number, because I want to make sure this is documented?" And she was like, "Okay, that's what we typically do." So she got my name and number, the whole nine, even though I showed up on the caller ID. And I said, do you guys supervisor normally play back some of these calls?" And she was like, "Yes." I said, "Because this is going to be a good one, because I'm just going to go ahead and tell you. I called to report the start of brush fire, and you're coming at me as if I'm guilty of something. Just record the information and get somebody out there to put the fire down before the whole city burns up." And you know, so she's going on about, "Well, sir, that's really not necessary." I said, "Well, I'm calling to report something, and you just being so lazy about it. By the time you get it reported, the whole side expressway gonna be burnt down." So I'm saying all that to say this: it's not the emergency responders that take a long time to get to an emergency. It's these people that are recording it and passing along the information, apparently. I mean, she's just going on and on. But then again, it's my fault, right? It's always Law's fault. How dare I call her job while she's at work? You know what I'm saying? Her job is to report emergencies, but how dare I call her? I think this is one of the reasons why a lot of people don't get involved. You know, it could have been something not as major, but the fact that she was not even paying attention to what I was saying. If I told you I just passed it and I gave you the mile marker, you should have instantly just started putting that information out. You're telling me there's no mile marker, such and such. Lady, look, what rock are you under? You don't know that here in the metro area we have mile markers now? Have you ever seen any? Do you pay attention to you when you driving? Now, I'm not telling her this, but I'm thinking all this. Or your eyelashes hanging over your eyes and you just can't see what's in front of you. You know, this was the longest, slowest 911 report I've ever done. It's very simple. I'm headed on the expressway. I pass mile marker so-and-so. There's a start of a brush fire. And then you're going to ask me how big the fire. I said, about the size of a bicycle. She said, a bicycle? I said, yes, ma'am. You asked me how big the fire is. I'm giving you what you asking for. I didn't say it was a major forest fire. I didn't say there was cars on fire. Is there anyone hurt? Ma'am, I'm traveling at X miles an hour. I didn't have time to slowly assess the whole situation. I didn't see a vehicle. I saw flames. It's the start of a fire, a brush fire. So by the time you get through holding me online, doggone thing is gonna probably been on engulfed into the whole side expressway burning up. I mean, come on, lady, get it right. I mean, I don't understand who's training these people. Who exactly? I mean, I know y'all. It's just me. I told y'all I really don't want to go to work this morning. It has to be me. You know. So what? She don't want to do her job. So what? The fire breaks out and the homes behind it, you know, catch on fire because of all this dryness right now. And yeah, I'd be on the news and hey, I called and it took them 45 minutes to get here. And y'all already know that's what people say on the news. It's not the responders' fault. It's not that they took long. We got these people sitting up there on those desks, behind those desks, halfway doing their job. If you give them precise information, that's enough to go on. Never mind who I am at this point. Do you have the emergency services on the way? We can talk about me all day long. But, you know, there's about to be a fire later. What you doing? I mean, what's going on here? Just crazy. And by the way, I decided to get his phone holder a third chance. This piece of crap going out my window just as soon as I pull my phone out of it. It don't hold and grip nothing but its own self. But anyway, happy hump day to everybody. I hope y'all have a great day at work. If you have to work, if you don't have a job, you haven't had a job in over a year, my question is why? Especially if you're a grown man. You know, I mean, if you sitting there laying in the bed every morning, watching your old lady get up to go to work, and you just gonna sit around all day, play video games, at least get up and fix her some breakfast. At least walk her to the car. Nah, you just gonna lay there. Yeah, I know. You can get mad. I'm just saying. I'm not talking about you directly. I'm talking about your buddy, not you. Just lay there. You know, remember, this is what you asked for. You asked to be in that. She's already taking care of you. Is, unless there's some kind of health reason or mental reason, but we're talking about able-bodied people. Ladies, if you got a man out there that is not working for no apparent reason, and you going to work 5-6 days a week, my question to you is why? Because the old saying, a piece of a man is better than no man at all. No, that's not true, ladies. Come on, y'all can do better than that. Y'all can do better than that. I mean, he was a mama's boy when you met him. But you stayed in there. You calling him on your way home, asking him what he want for dinner. He been there all day. He could have gone to the store and got something to cook for you. Or went and picked up some food. Don't y'all know if you deal with a lazy person, it's gonna rub off on you. It's gonna have you where you don't want to do your normal routines on the weekend. It's gonna have you want to sit on that couch. And before you know it, you're stuck to that couch. And all y'all doing is sitting there looking at each other. But anyway, for all you happy singles, I know y'all glad y'all don't have to deal with that. I know y'all are so happy that you don't have to deal with all that stuff. And I'm not coming down on no one person in particular. Once again, the things that I talk about, even though I say y'all and you, is actually part of my past. So there you go. You know, don't get all uptight about, you know, all this stuff and what he ain't talking about me and stuff like that. I mean, I'm on here. I don't have a niche. I'm not writing down a set of talking points and all these things. I mean, I could do that. I can sit there this morning while I'm eating my breakfast, which by the way, I did remember to bring my breakfast this morning, and jot down some key points of what I want to talk about today. But I'll be bored with that because it changes. I can get in here at 6:30 and start writing down 5 things I want to touch on. But as my day go on, it's gonna be more stuff that's coming up, and I'm gonna change it anyway. And I made the mistake yesterday, something I typically don't do. Office phone rang. I actually picked it up. I normally let stuff like that go to voicemail, cause for some reason, people have this notion that you're just sitting there waiting on them to call, and you're just supposed to drop everything you're doing to do it right now. Well, and I explained to the gentleman that I'm in the middle of 3 different projects right now, and he just went along as if that didn't matter to him. I was like, well, you're gonna have to give me a little time to get back to you. He just started talking about the problem. Needless to say, I wasn't paying him no damn attention. So when he got through, I said, okay, now would you follow the procedure and put that in an email and send it to me, because I need to start a chain of conversation. I'm not going by word of mouth. You do not, clients or anybody, you do not give any okays over the phone. So y'all see what I'm talking about? Look at all this traffic for no reason. These people at this mega mansion church, there's a back entrance in and out this place. I don't know how in the world they're allowed to tie up traffic on a major road just because they can. Now we got all these city officials. How do y'all make that okay? It's rush hour, and that's been going on. It's gonna be going on apparently all week. I'd be so glad when that mess is over with. And it ain't got nothing to do with religion. It just has more to do with that they have the audacity and think they have that much power that they can just block up traffic and people trying to get to and from work. There's a back way out. Tie up that back road that nobody's on. And I just think a lot of times when they get like that, they're just being the one in charge. You just being plain out cocky at this point. You know you can ask them to use back way out and back way in. You just just putting it out there. You don't have to do that. That's enough going on. People trying to get to work. Now you got the police out there. Now you got to stop traffic. Look at that. See the back road right there. Ain't nobody even on it. There was probably 10 cars coming down here. But no, Mr. Man wants to tie up the whole interstate. So, but anyway, that's a morning rant. Just random. Y'all, I ain't talking about nothing. I ain't talking about nothing. I don't even know if I'm going to post this video. I just wanted to put it out there about that clueless 911 operator that did not know what she was doing. She didn't have a clue as to what was going on. You don't know how to follow procedure. My question is, I want to know who trained her. Because what if that was a real emergency? And then, you know, you got to sit here and have a 30-minute conversation after you've given this person precise information. And she's just being so, well, whatever. That's her attitude. I don't know what makes people tick. I still don't want to be at work this morning, but I'm going to go in. I hope nobody started that today. I don't know. I probably just need to just cut somebody out just for the fun of it. Just for adrenaline's sake. Yeah. I'll probably do something like that. Oh, by the way, I appreciate all the messages you all were sending me, but my phone is facing um forward, so I couldn't see the messages. But but yeah, you're right, random dragon. I didn't start the fire, but she was acting as if I'm standing right there. When I tell her that I just passed it and I'm on the expressway, I give you the mile marker. You asking me questions as if I'm still standing there. That was the dumbest thing. Well, actually, it is a peaceful ride. There is traffic. My commute time, Nika, my commute time is 12 minutes. So typically I jump on the expressway and I'm getting off on the very next exit when I decide to take that route. So I have a short commute time. It used to be just short of 4 years ago. There was hardly nobody on the road at this time in the morning, but it's gotten a little worse. You give it another 20 minutes, that particular stretch of the highway is going to be backed up. Um, just to be clear, Random Dragon, uh, no, it's not okay for a woman to be lazy. But to be honest, maybe you don't even know this, but and I'm gonna put this out here. I'm a firm believer that women are the true backbone of the country. You think about the mothers and the grandmothers and all the work that they endured. And back in the day when granddaddy was going to work, granddaddy probably drove a cement maker mixer, and he probably worked part-time on the weekend as a janitor. Now, grandmama, she's at home. She's cooking and caring and washing and ironing for probably 9 or 10 kids, plus a couple of nieces and nephews. So grandma doing all this hard work. Grandma's working it. Granddad is working it. The kids are out at play. But if you go back even further than that, if you go back to the 70s, like me, uh, when they sent us to the country or whatever, we got up in the morning, we had chores to do. So no, women, I don't say it's okay for women to be lazy. But if you going to work, man, um, random dragon, if you getting up and you going to work and you leave and your woman sitting there with that bonnet on her head and she didn't bother to get up and say good morning, you at least get up and at least offer you a cup of coffee and wish you well and all that, and you get home, she still got that same raggedy bonnet on her head. That's your lazy woman, not society's lazy woman. Because once again, you even knew that going in. Maybe that's what you cater to. You know, I don't know. It's this is a broad conversation that's gonna cover many bases. So, if you got offended because you still on the couch and your old lady just left for work, I ain't nothing else I can tell you, man. If she can't ask you to do nothing, I sure can't ask you to grow up and do nothing. I can't. Who am I to say, hey, Dragon, why don't you get up, man, and go clean the living room up? Why don't you go do that load of laundry that's been sitting there for 3 days that she hasn't had time to do because she's been going to work and she's been coming home late. So the clothes are piling up. And then when she comes home, Dragon, you tell her that you running out of clean underwear. Now you would get in your car, drive all the way to the big box and buy you some new drawers, other than insulting your own manhood, if you will, by washing a load of clothes. Think about that. Just think about it. Women are the true backbone. And I'm saying this in reference to lazy men, and I didn't know I was gonna strike a chord with you all, random dragon. But hey, man, get up and do something. You know, because I do give women their due respect. I mean, I'm that good morning, thank you, yes, ma'am, and I do all that. Now, when I'm confronted with one of these little crazies, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, but if you come for me, then I'm gonna have some choice words to throw back at you. And that's not out of being disrespectful, because you put that energy out there, you need to expect it back. So yeah, this conversation was about the laziness And if you want examples, I give you perfect examples. You got generations of people that still get up and still go to work. You got a lot of us have grandparents whose granddaddy still works. He don't even have to. He probably retired military. He probably retired police officer, but he still gets up every morning because he has a purpose. He has something to do. Whether they go out there and get on his tractor and work a couple acres, or he go volunteer at some event center. He still feels that purpose in life. A lot of people, the younger ones, don't have a purpose, never had a purpose. Case in point, you was brought in this world, you was cradled. Uh, you didn't have to get involved with no kind of community environment related type stuff at home. You didn't have to play any type of sporting activities. You didn't have to participate in PE. You know, you spent more time in arts and crafts than trying to learn how to handle a simple baseball or trying to go to any of the technical classes, because now they have high-tech classes now. And my question is, why are all these schools building it? I already know it's going to be full of a lot of women, because these men are too darn pretty to get in there and learn how to work on a car or learn HVAC or try to actually get up and do an honest day's work. And that doesn't apply to every man. That's a majority of the young men. So back to the comments you made about, am I saying it's okay for women to be lazy? If I would have said it's okay for women to be lazy, I would have said yes, women are lazy. You didn't hear me say that. So your argument was that's the most highlight of your day right there. You ain't got nothing else. That was it for you. You know, you just want, I'm gonna get on him and I'm gonna tell him this and this and that and the third. I tell you what, get up and go find you something to do. I've been up. I don't have to be at work 6:30. If I want to be late, I can make some phone call. I get up 2 hours before time to make a 12-minute commute to work. Now y'all do the math. I'm up, getting my word. I'm thinking about some things. I'm getting things in order. What I never do, I never leave home with my bed unmade. I never leave home with clothes in the washing and dryer. I never leave home with dishes in the sink, because I was raised that way. And if you happen to be one of them lazy ones that your old lady taking care of you, and if she's good with it, then y'all ignore what I'm saying. But you need to do something. If you're not doing anything, if you still trying to get to that next level that you've been trying to get to on that video game, try to get to that next level in real life. Graduate to yard work, and then graduate to pressure washing. Then you can get to gutter cleaning. Then you can get to detailing her car. Not only that, wash the car that she's paying for you to ride around in when you decide to go somewhere. Because now you ordering all your food, so everything's being brought to you. You won't even go to the store. So that's just the way it is. If you have that lifestyle, that's fine. Have that lifestyle. And I know a lot of people will respond with it as a joke, but it's just the way of the world. That's just how it is. I mean, you can see the laziness in people. You can easily spot it. And I'm just so thankful that I was taught at an early age to work for what I wanted, because that kept one thing from happening. I started working when I was 14. So I was getting up, I was going to work. And when I wasn't going to work, I was at school. I didn't have time to get caught up in that dope game. And I was right there in the middle of all of it. And I'm one of the fortunate ones. I didn't have to get involved with it. And I don't do drugs. I don't smoke anything. I don't even care to be around smokers. I wouldn't date nobody if they were smoking. That's just my personal preference. We all got preferences. Your preference your preference might be to lay around all day and do nothing, play video games. My preference is to work. Even though I started this live saying I should just go back in the house. But I know if I had went back in that house, I would already had a backup plan on what I can do today. I got other sources of income I could be attending to while I burn a day off, if I choose to do that. Because that's your personal time. What you do in your personal time is your personal time. You don't have to explain to nobody on your job what you are doing when you request your time off. You have earned that time off. It's nobody's business. It's nobody's business. So, as long as you're working and as long as you're being productive, and like I say, if for some reason that you can't work, my conversations and my posts are not out here to throw out a bunch, waste time throwing out disclaimers. So if you know you physically can't work, mentally can't work, this don't apply to you. So why do we have to go through all this? Make it make sense, y'all. That's all I'm saying. And to be honest, for all the mothers out there, the ladies, my hat's off to you. Y'all keep up the good work. No matter what it is. I know how hard it is on some of these jobs. I've been around long enough to know that a lot of y'all not treated fairly. And in a lot of cases, it wasn't even about your race. It was just a fact about you is a female or are female. Now you got Billy Bob as the boss. He can't stomach that. So we have all these things that society got everybody fooled thinking that kind of stuff don't still go on. Yes, it still goes on. The discrimination is still live. It's still going on. It's still, every day. So do not allow these people to fool you into thinking it's different. I mean, it's gotten better, but it's still there. And until you've experienced all that stuff, until you was actually young enough to remember when your dad and your granddad was talking about that, and they was telling you about certain things to be prepared for in life, to help you to be hopefully a stronger individual when you're faced with this stuff. Now, what do you do when you deal with a lot of people that are clueless to it? Saw this little young brother on the news the other day. He's a black guy. So apparently this teacher was in school and they allegedly wrote what's considered a racial slur on the chalkboard. And so they were interviewing the students, and here comes this little young black guy. Watching his mannerism, listening to how he was talking. Dude, there ain't nothing black about you. You just had to be in the wrong skin. How you gonna get on national TV and you got nerve to try to complain when you don't even know? I bet you don't even know the stuff that your parents had to go through on their jobs, or to make sure they had enough money to get you milk and Pampers. Because they don't know the struggle. They trying to erase. They're so busy trying to erase history that now we're trying to erase it from our own kids. People, you don't even sit down and talk to your kids about history. And if y'all don't believe me, and for some of y'all that's too young to remember, research black history in schools. They took it out of schools. And I'm not making this about race, because black history actually covered more than just about black people. Because a lot of us was part of the Spanish culture and everything. So it covers a lot. But then they filtered in the American history. So they tried to change a lot about history. They're trying to get y'all to not know that certain things existed. And you don't even know your own heritage. You don't even know anything. And you know, a lot of us, we get older, we forget some things, but you don't even know enough about your grandparents or what their life was like, or even your own father. Okay, so what? He wasn't in the picture. That doesn't mean that you think your life. We have people out here that actually think their life began just by having a mama. That's it, just mom. And just because your parents didn't make it does not mean that you can't make it the way you can't do your own research. You may not want to deal with daddy. A lot of us are like that or were like that, but you still know enough about them to know where you came from. But until you want to do that, you know. So Bill, I'm glad to see that. I'm reading your comments now. I'm taking a moment to read this. So carpenter, plumber, mechanic. Let me ask you something, Bill, about being a plumber. Can you tell me the average slope of a 6-inch sanitary waste line? Give me the average slope. I'll wait. Can you explain to the public out here, Bill? You can look it up. You can cheat. I don't care. Can you explain to them the actual reason for a P trap? Go ahead. Just type it in. They'll read it. I want you to help me with this because I see that you're a plumber. And then as a mechanic, what are you talking about? You talking about diesel mechanic, auto mechanic, equipment mechanic. What are we talking about? And if you are a diesel mechanic and you're a firefighter, are you working on the truck itself? Is it a freight line, or what are most what are some of the better fire engine these days? Better yet, as a firefighter, explain to them the fire department connection, and explain to them as when how do you pressurize a line if you have to do that as a firefighter. Explain it to the public because we're all on here to learn something. And I like to see people that are working. So can you I'm gonna shut up and get my stuff together and walk in this building while you explain to them those few things. And y'all excuse me, I'm gonna try not to cut y'all off. Bill's got the floor. He's gonna type in some useful information for y'all about being a plumber and a firefighter. Go ahead, Bill. Don't keep everybody waiting now. You're gonna lose some of my viewers, Bill, if you don't type it in. Come on, Bill, you can do better than that. Well, y'all, I guess Bill is being shy. I guess he chose to be shy, y'all. Yeah, I got y'all in the dog right now. I'm trying to get myself together. And I know if I turn that light on, I'm going to forget to turn it back off. Turn that light off. I knew it. Killed my battery out here messing around with Bill. All right, so. Well, I mean, I thank you, Nika. He put it out there, and I just wanted to ask him because a lot of people, they have situations in their house and they don't understand basic skills as far as plumbing. Bill could actually enlighten y'all on some things that you may actually be having a problem with right now. Bill can explain to y'all why there should be vent piping in the line. You know, a lot of you living in houses, even in apartments, and you probably wondering why is my sink always draining slow. I've cleaned it out. I've pulled the greaser down there. It's your house is improperly vented. That's why. I ain't talking about vent for the draft. I'm talking about vent for the airline. For it has to have circulation. And if your house is improperly vented, and especially in a lot of these apartment buildings or these 2 or 3 story buildings, um, that's why. You know. So I was hoping Bill would give y'all some information. He could have cheated and just did a copy and paste job. But at least since he was inserting himself in here, you know, um, and why do men always equate their success, Bill, as the fact that they own cars? Why is that, man? Why? Tell me that. We went from talking about video games now Bill has all been out of shape. You know, he wants y'all to know he got cars. He wants y'all to know he's a firefighter. Um, um, and Bill, as a firefighter, you can attest to what I said. A lot of times, you guys are accused of being slow showing up, but it wasn't y'all. Y'all probably received the information late because of Miss Judy up there in the call center not doing her doggone job. See, I went to bat for you on that one, Bill. But I do want to hear. So I do want to hear about your plumbing experience, and I want to hear more about. Well, I didn't ask you about being a carpenter because you didn't answer the first 2 things. You know, and as a carpenter, I'm sure we're well aware of load bearing walls. I'm sure you can absolutely still know how to read a ruler, standard and metric, and I'm sure you know how to do your calculations to calculate the invert and the elevation of a manhole. I'm sure you know all this stuff. And I think Nika would like to know because you putting the stuff out there. I think she might want to know. Well, Nika, if your tub is not draining towards the drain, that's a leveling issue. And unless if it's not bothering you, I wouldn't even worry about it because it's gonna cost you a lot of money for them to come in and level that tub. So that right there is more of a leveling issue with drainage. If you still have water that's towards the back of your tub after you're letting it out, that's what that is. But if you're having problems with flushing and smelly drains and all those things, there are 2 things I use that I pour down my drains. And especially like in one bathroom, I hardly ever use it. I still flush it every now and then. Uh, Once a week, because I only use my coffee pot at home on the weekends. So once a week, I run vinegar and water through my coffee pot to clean it. And that same water, I pour a little bit down each drain to help kill some of that odor. And if you got leftover coffee, you can do it with coffee. Coffee, believe it or not, is a good deodorizer. It's not gonna clean nothing, but it helps get rid of some of the smell. So it's a lot of things that you could do. No, Nika, I'm not saying whether or not you're in an apartment. It could happen. Like I said, go back whether you're in a house or an apartment. If your house is not properly ventilated, your sanitary line. Let me just be clear. If it's not properly ventilated, you will have issues with flushing because there has to be air in a line in order for things to flush properly. That's what I'm saying. So without it being vented properly, it won't flush right. And I was hoping Bill was going to help y'all with that. He could talk about it, but it's it was just one of those things. So, but good luck with that tub, nigga. But if you want to, you can look at getting it leveled. And actually, you can get one of those little levelers. And it depends on your phone. And I don't know if you want to lay your phone in your tub, but if you have a case on your phone, take the case off the phone, lay your phone in your tub in the center, turn on your leveling app. It should be sloping towards the drain. If it's almost even or going back the other way, yes, you have a sloping problem with your tub. It's not level. Tubs are put in at level, but the tub itself has a small degree of a slope in it, so your water can drain. So that means when they installed that tub, they installed it. You know, it wasn't installed evenly. That's why it's going backwards. So that was on the builder right there. No, I'm just having a conversation because sometimes people want to know, Nico, and I'm glad you put that up there. I'm not looking at it as something very serious. I'm not, Nika. I'm not going off on anybody. I just talk. I'm very straightforward when I talk. So that's what that is. It's not. It's That's all it is. But yeah, the guy who responded, you get those. And I like to. I'm not challenging anybody, but I feel like if you got knowledge on something, share it. Share it with the general public. I do believe that. If you have that kind of knowledge, I think you should share it. But he was just throwing things out there. All because I made a comment about him watching his old lady go to work. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if your woman wants you to do that, okay, fine, big good. All good. But don't get all offended because I made that conversation. I made that point. I don't see a reason to get all bent out of shape over it. And if y'all see, once again, I forget to say this because I don't think I need to repeat this every time I go live. But I do appreciate if y'all do subscribe to my channel because I'm always gonna be on here talking about something random. I'm gonna keep doing that, you know. And just depends. And I'm still sitting out here. But I hope everybody have a wonderful day. Make the best of it. Stay out of trouble. What does that mean, Nika? You're losing me there. Subbed. Oh. Gotcha. I'm sorry. Y'all, y'all know what? I'm so weak minded when it comes to abbreviations. I'm old school. I'm still that person that I might send one or two emojis. I don't even send emojis. I don't know why. I got you. Thank you, Nika. And I hope you be tuning in more for more of my rants and my random conversations and uh and all that. No, I'm not. Nigga, I don't know if I want to get. I don't know if I want to get better at abbreviated stuff because I like strong communication. I like words. I like uh confirming things. That's part of my job. Is to be precise and to when you're in certain fields, that's just what you do. That's just the way it is. But I was just gonna get on here this morning just for my 12-minute commute that turned into 40 minutes. And Bill is probably still doing his research. So I don't know how this live thing goes once it ends. Even though it's gonna end soon, maybe Bill has sent something in the comments to where I can forward to y'all some of his knowledge and his expertise about being a firefighter, whether or not he used to drive the truck or whatever. Or maybe Bill was just playing and he was talking about everything else, all the jobs his friends has while he's sitting at home on the couch while his wife is at work. I don't know what Bill was talking about. I don't know Bill. I would love to have a partner on one of these lives that we can go back and forth with, but I don't have one. So you got that going for yourself, Bill. But anytime, And like I always say to everybody, this is in reference to another comment. If you're a mature adult, you're free to do whatever you want to do in your own time, your own personal space. You don't have to ask me. I don't care what you do. So that I hope that answers that question. So there's no need for me to single you out, but I just hope that answers your question. You know. And if you need to ask another mature adult permission to do such things, then I'm just gonna leave that right there. Yeah, I'll leave it right there. So anyway, everybody have a great morning. I'm gonna get in here and drink my coffee. And I hope one of these sums of guns don't start now with me. Now I'm just kidding, y'all. Everything's good. Oh my God, just got my notification. Let me get in here and pay my auto insurance. Talk to you later. Bye.